G Microchains, and welcome everybody to the first ever of 2025, at least, Linera Developer Workshop. We are very excited to have you guys here to learn a little bit more about how to program on Linera's new L1 blockchain. And I would like to introduce the amazing engineers who we have here today on the call. And we will, so let's welcome everybody to the stage. Here we go. We got, oh, that's not you. There you, let's go over here. There we are. Hello. Welcome, guys. So James, how are you? What is it? Good morning or good evening? Good afternoon? Where are you right now?
Good mid-afternoon here in sunny London. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. Feel free to pop things in the chat.
Wonderful. JV, how are you doing today?
Hello, everyone. Pretty good. Excited about this. How are you guys feeling?
Great. Well, we're really excited that you guys are both here to walk us through. Before we get started and you kind of give us an overview of what we're going to be discussing today, I wanted to show everybody something very exciting that we just announced yesterday. This is a new developer challenge. So we have launched a developer challenge, and hopefully today's session, helps to give you some of the background and skills to be able to enter into this challenge. Basically, it's all about building a simple, casual game that can be on Linera's testnet. It can be any kind of game. It could be a puzzle. I know someone's working on a Tetris game, for example. Shout out Mika Rico. We already have a blackjack game and a 2048 game, but it can be any sort of game, right? Whether it's a two-player game or a many-player game. Puzzle, strategy, card game, something like that. Turn-based games are great. And, it has to be built on top of microchains. We're going to talk more about this. What do you get if you build this game? The builder role on Linera's Discord, a very coveted role, 50,000 XP for up to 5 winning projects. Your game will be featured in a community-wide tournament. So we'll have a lot of people being able to play it, which will allow you to test it, for example, and see how it works, figure out what to build up next on top of it. Consideration for future grant opportunities. And if we have more than 5 winning projects there, and there are others that are deserving, those will earn 20,000 XP in the builder role. So this is a very exciting new developer challenge that we are launching, and we hope that a lot of people will participate. The submission deadline is about 5 weeks from now, end of April. So you have time to build. It's not like, it's got to be done next week, right? We want to give you time to be able to think about what you want to build, do some research, learn about Linera, and then build it. And of course, along the way, you can come to these Tuesday sessions and ask the engineers for feedback about your game, any questions that you're having. And of course, within the developer forum on Discord, the dev forum, dev chat, you can ask questions of other community builders and of the engineers themselves. Ultimately, you're going to post the GitHub link to the open source repo and the playable front end. Of course, you got the developer's manual, you got these developer workshops and example applications that you can check out. And who's going to be judging this? We have Matthew, who is the founder, James, who you're going to hear from today, Wilton, our head of content, and a few of our community contributors, our community devs, Hastu, LPaydat, and ZaoKK, who've already been building applications on Linera. So very excited about this, and I hope everybody who is listening will consider to create something fun. And, it doesn't have to be super complicated, but let's create something that's fun that people can use, and you can show off your dev skills. So with that, I think it's now time for us to get into the developer workshop. We have a lot of content to get through. Feel free to ask questions either on X or in YouTube, and we will feature your questions as we go. So let's bring everybody back onto the stage here. Oh, in addition, we have another special guest. Matthew, welcome. Can you hear us?
Hello. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
All right. Well, I will hand it over to James, who's going to be leading us today. And James, tell us a little bit about what we're going to be learning today, what we're going to be going over.
Yeah, so sorry, I was just frantically trying to connect my YouTube account to this streaming app, but so we have now, one of our recent innovations in Linera is that we have the ability to run the full Linera client as a JavaScript library that you can embed directly into a web page. And this is great for, games or little apps that you want to show off, although obviously not quite as secure as the user running their own wallet in their own browser. So I kind of wanted to post a link here, but it's not working out. So maybe someone else could post the
I can do it. Yeah, if you send me the
counter
link,
demo. Yeah,
send me the link and I will share it.
I'll shoot that to you. So this is essentially just a little demo that connects to an app that's running on a Linera blockchain. So we have a little test network set up. It connects to that, and all this one does is it has a little incrementing counter that you can increment by clicking a button. And when you do that, you can send a message off to the network. It will be, there we go, thank you. It will be, so we've got a chain there. It gets you a new chain. It gets you a new chain, and then you get the ability to interact with that chain. You've got your own state, and you can play around with it from the web page. So what we'd like to be able to do today, by the end of this, ideally, is to have as many people as, So I'll be walking through building this, or a slightly simplified version of it. And if you want to follow along at home, that would be really cool. So on another screen here somewhere, I should be presenting, though I can't see if I am or not.
Yep, you're going to be presenting.
Am I visible? Okay.
Oops.
Ooh, that's just giant Janita.
Okay, sorry, having some StreamYard challenges right now real fast. Sorry, my bad. We'll get there.
First stream of the season is always great.
Okay.
Yes, all right. So for this one, we essentially only need PNPM, which is my package manager of choice. This will probably work with yours as well.
James, can you zoom in
lucky.
so we can see what you're doing?
I can zoom in, yes. Let's try that.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit more.
Even more. How's that?
I think that's pretty good. Now we can see.
All right, nice. We should have PNPM. And we have, So first thing we need is we probably want a package. So we're going to do that. That's made us a little package. And we're going to use, for our build system for this, we're going to use Vite. I think it goes like this. There we go. So all we have to do here is now should be able to immediately run a dev server. Okay. So I'm going to slightly cheat because I'm not a good streamer. So I've got a completed version open here, and I'm going to walk us through it as we go from one to the other. Has anybody who wants to follow along, has everybody managed to get set up with the JavaScript development environment? This is interactive. If you've got questions or you get stuck, please let me know, and we'll try to solve them live. So first thing we want to do is we want to get the Linera client package, apart from your standard HTML gumph. So we get our Linera client package. So that's on NPM. You can pull it in directly from unpackage, which is a convenient way to get your packages directly into the web page. If you do choose to import it using NPM, just remember it must not be bundled. That will break things. Then we're going to have a couple of little bits of HTML where we're going to put the data that we're working with. So we've got our chain ID and our count, and we'll fill those with some dummy values for now. And they have the IDs of chain ID and count, so we can refer to them. And here's our button.
Where can we find the code that you're showing? Is this on the public?
You can't. You can build it. You can build it by yourself.
All right, I'm not typing as fast as to. Okay. Okay. Cool.
It's only 50 lines of code. Super simple. So we can
share
answer some
the
of the higher
code
level.
we can share the code on Discord or something like that if you
Yeah,
want to copy and paste
absolutely
it.
can.
I can
Yeah,
just
great.
copy it
Yeah.
over to people.
At the end, right? Let's see. How can we do this? So I'm trying to figure out how I can easily get this onto Discord. I'll send the code off at the other. Okay, how do I? Yeah, I have no idea how to do this. Sorry, I think we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. I'll post this later at the end of it, but I really do encourage following along. It's not very much code. If you then should be able to run your dev server on Vite, and you'll get your index page, which I have open here somewhere. Yep, there we go. Good start. I've been working on this one, so yeah, there we go. So that's just our HTML UI. It's not beautiful.
Can you click a little bit just to show us the counter? We haven't. Oh, is this,
Well, we haven't implemented that yet. We haven't implemented that yet.
I see.
So the first thing we need to do. So we've got this little script at the top here, and this just lets us know that when we're importing Linera client, what we want to do is import this package from unpackage. Okay, and that will go straight into the browser as a module. So then we get to the meat. So the way that we get that module into our code is we import it. Now this counter app ID is the same ID that you can find in the source of the page that we shared the link of earlier. So that probably does need to be copy pasted. It's really annoying. I've got this. I was hoping to be in the chat so I could paste these things in, but there's apparently an error on the StreamYard side that I get every time I try to connect it.
You can always just send it to me on Slack and I can share.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that right now because this definitely needs to go.
Well, will you share it, Danny?
I can share it either in the YouTube chat or we can kind of create something within Discord. I think I'm going to create a channel within the within dev chat that's specifically about this conversation. So
nice. And while you're doing it, can we see the final counter that you were showing us at the very beginning, James? You didn't click to show us what it's supposed to do.
I think Danny has it open and can click on the button.
Okay.
I mean, I can do it too.
Yeah. Good.
We only can have one screen share at a time, so we just got to go toggle between each other.
Frustrating.
And I think you said it, James, but so for just to make sure people understand, this is running a Linera client inside the web page, which is one of the ways to use the Linera client. The other way will be to use a browser extension, but that's not for today. Today we are embedding the Linera client inside the page. Is going to run the entire Linera client that runs the blocks and execute the all the blocks inside the macro chain that is being activated here, that is being operated when we click the button. And so every time we click the button, if somebody could click the button for once, we'll see that it creates blocks.
Go on, Danny, click the button.
Oh, you want me to click the button? Sorry.
Yeah, yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Even a couple of times, maybe. All right, so here we go. So that's it. So every time we click the button, so it's creating a query to mutate the chain of the state of the app, which in Linera happens when you create a block in your own micro chain, and that's what we're seeing here. Okay, just make sure everybody's on the same page. And this is, and why it's amazing also is because the click here, everything you're seeing on this page is trustless. It's not requiring any RPC provider to feed the data to the page. It's all computed locally, and then validated remotely in the DevNet that James set up for these demos. Okay, just wanted to make sure everybody had this in mind, and now we can come back to the code, I guess.
So Danny, I posted you an application ID. If you could pop that into the chat.
And people can try the demo. People can try the demo themselves with this URL that's displayed, at least for me, at the bottom of the screen. It's going to be exactly the same. And when you load the page, you're going to get a new chain automatically. So right now the users don't sign blocks. We are just using a temporary key to sign all the blocks. So that's why you don't need to connect a wallet. But that's just going to be made in future iterations.
It's creating you a fresh wallet when you load the page at the moment.
Okay, so I just shared that long string of numbers, both kind of in Discord. We now have developer workshop AMA post under dev chat that people can join. Also, I posted it as a comment on YouTube. So how can people use that chain of numbers that we just gave them?
So this chain of numbers, it looks scary, but it's just an identifier for an application. So this is pointing to a counter application that's running on the testnet. And if you are a backend person, you can find that counter in the standard Linera examples repo. You added it as a headline. Yeah, that's just the standard counter example. And all this counter example does is it has two operations, one to get the current value of the counter and one to increment the counter. And those are implemented as GraphQL queries for the application. So having put this counter into our code somewhere, the idea of the counter, next thing we want to do is actually get connected to Linera. So the first call, we do this default call to the package, and that simply initializes the environment, sets up we implement all of this as WebAssembly compiled from Rust, sets all of that up, downloads the packages, everything you need. Having done that, you can straightforwardly create a faucet, which is a client for the Linera faucet, and this is where you choose your network. So this one's using our mininet, which is a tiny little network with just one validator that I spun up just for this demo. Soon you'll be able to point this directly to the testnet when we release that. And that will set you up and then you can call create wallet, which allows you to connect to the faucet, get all the information you need to create yourself a new Linera wallet. So that tells you the current state of the network and all of the metadata that you need to put into an initial wallet. Now it wouldn't be once you've done that, you can create a client and you can actually connect to the network for the first time by passing the wallet in. And as a nicety, you'll notice we have a chain ID here. We actually just immediately print out the chain ID into this chain ID element so that we can see what's going on. Sorry, skipped a step there. The first thing we do, this is what happens if you compress your code too much. The first thing we do is get a chain. Excuse me. Get a chain from the faucet, which is indeed what a faucet is for. And this faucet will come, this chain that you get from the faucet will come with 100 Linera tokens to start with, which is useful because we need them to produce our blocks. Then we assign the chain ID that we get to this element. No problem. So now we get to the application stuff, which is the fun bit. First of all, we want to connect to the application that we specified by this counter app ID here. So we call frontend, which is I understand it's a bit confusing in this context actually, but is the function you call to get the object that application frontends can interact with. So up until this point, if you were running this as a wallet extension, all of this would be in the extension itself. The extension would be getting chains, the extension would be creating the wallet, etc. And these will be managing that through the web browser. From here on out, this is what you do in your actual application front end. So first of all, we connect to the application by giving the library the ID of the application we want to talk to. When? Very soon, actually. Then we simply, when we say we register a notification handler, and this is really important for Linera. A lot of blockchains won't give you this, but in Linera, because we try to support real-time usage, what happens is that you can actually be notified whenever anything happens to your chain. So in this case, we're only interested in new blocks, but there are all kinds of things that can happen to your chain in a Linera network. You can receive messages, you can change owners, change permissions, the committee can change, etc. And your front end will be immediately updated with it. So you see here, if it turns out that the reason for this notification was a new block, we just update our count. And here's the update count function that we just defined above. We have our backend that we're connected to, and we send it a query. And this application has chosen to use GraphQL as their query language. They didn't have to, but that's what we chose as the kind of default language for our examples. So here it is. And that's just a simple GraphQL query that just gets the value of the counter. So the result of a GraphQL query is always JSON. So we know it's safe to JSON parse that. And then we get out the value that we asked for and put it into this count element that we defined in the HTML above. And that's already enough to see, if you had someone else clicking the button, that would already be enough to see what's going on the chain. You've got your data out, and that's updating every single time something happens to the chain. Pretty good. But we'd also like to be able to update it. So we're also just going to add these couple of lines. When someone clicks this increment button, then we send another query, and this one's a GraphQL mutation. And mutations mean that you're actually going to create a block for this. So we have this convention for our GraphQL applications that when you do a GraphQL mutation, those are operations that will end up on the chain. Whereas when you do a query like above here, these are read-only. And the read-only application, the read-only queries actually don't even have to go to the network, right? Because you're running a full Linera node on your machine, we don't even do a network round trip for this. We just check it. If it had changed in the meantime, then we'd have real-time updated the local machine state, so you're always reading the most recent data anyway. And then here we go. We put our query in, and we update the count just once to start with, so that we get the initial value of the counter. And it happens to be 0, actually, so that's kind of boring, but you can imagine, and in fact, you don't have to imagine, if you published your application with different parameters, it could start as a different number. And this is basically that all put together.
Yeah,
sorry,
that's fantastic.
Hide the secret Linera extension there.
That's amazing. Honestly, the APIs that the code that you like the way you design the library and the JavaScript side, it's awesome. It's really, really concise. I love it.
So it's super simple, right?
I think people are going to be really, really stoked about this. Yeah. Nice.
And you don't need any Rust experience to use this. You don't need to be able to do anything complicated with the backend. You can have someone else do that entirely. and you can easily imagine building really nice front ends on top of this, I think.
And as a matter of fact, I'm going to plug. We made a demo where it's not a web UI that is making the GraphQL queries, but it's an AI agent.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Did anyone manage to reproduce this? Has anyone got stuck reproducing this?
I'd love to. I need to find the code. Maybe I'm not using the same stream as everybody, so I don't have the. Is this on YouTube? Did we copy this on the Discord?
Do you see the comments? Are you in StreamYard?
I am.
On the right-hand side.
Oh yeah, that's right. Here we go. Here we go. Oh yeah, let me join the chat. Hey chat.
Yeah.
How's it going? I see what's going on. I see. Okay, let me try.
Let me know if you managed to join it. It did not work for me.
This is the code, right, that we're looking for?
Yeah, that's the one. Mm-hmm. That's the identifier of the counter app.
So this is on YouTube, by the way. If you want to join us on YouTube, our YouTube channel, you can find the code there. Also, we posted it in Discord, Dev Chat, the Developer Workshop AMA. So you can use this code to get the code. While Matthew's pulling this up, there was an important question that came in from the community. Why does JV look like the boss at the gym?
Asking the deep technical questions. Yeah.
Because everybody else on the call is super strong and looks like we are working in the gym instead of just being the boss at the gym. No, is that the reason?
Fantastic.
I love so I won't be able to join the chat apparently, but that's okay. I can read the chat and.
How fast is the response we hear? So it depends. And unfortunately, it depends which browser you're using. On Chrome-based browsers, at the moment, the UI to UI seems to be about 300 milliseconds. There's obviously lots of low-hanging stuff.
I just want to clarify what we're answering here. So the time it takes to create a block and confirm it locally and then display the counter.
To send the event from the button to the back end, construct a block, send the block, confirm the block, get the block back. Yes. Including
just want to clarify that that's way more operations than what is usually referred to as a block time in the blockchain. Because that's actually including a number of round trip plus reading from the chain, executing, and obviously proposing the block, executing the blocks, reading from the chain. I mean, receiving a notification potentially and reading from the chain, and that's like under half a second, 300 milliseconds on a real network. Like you're like the mini net is somewhere like on the data center.
I have to say as well, I'm in the UK. The mini net is running in the US, so this is a transatlantic finality time.
This is real life conditions. I mean, obviously the app is very simple, so the executing a block in this case is very fast. But I mean, that's also the case for many applications where you just want to move a piece of the chessboard or something like that. It's not like a lot of computation. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I think I almost when you look at the code on screen, you don't necessarily realize that it's running 95% of the Linera code base. It was that took a year.
Line. Yes.
It took a year. It took a year of work to port this much of the Linera code base and to make it work in Wasm.js, because the Linera code base is in Rust and has been developed primarily under Linux or macOS by the backend team, and then we took this code base and we made it available as a JavaScript library, which is really a testament to the determination of the team, in particular James, and also just the fact that the WASM tech is amazing. I mean, there are a few caveats, obviously, but like the Rust toolchain can definitely compile both to Linux target Linux servers and web clients. So ensuring now, in our case, ensuring the compatibility and of the executions. Like you want the blocks to be executed the same way on the client side and the server side.
Yeah, I describe it as cutting edge. I think there are definitely some rough bits, but it does work.
And when we submit, so when you click, also something to mention, when you click the button and it creates a mutation, so the block is going to be first staged locally before being sent to the validators. That's kind of what our client likes to do, because we don't like to send block proposals to validators that are not potentially not accurate. So there's always this extra step. So this was all included in the number you gave earlier. Pre-executing the block, then proposing the block, then confirming the block.
Yeah. Yeah.
This may be obvious, but can you speak to how this code, this front end, can be used for people who want to build a game, specifically games on microchains, right, as part of this challenge?
Yeah, 100%. And I see we have Hasto. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce your name. Sorry about that. So shout out there. But yes, we have. So you can imagine that when you are, for example, rather than getting a simple counter here, this is an arbitrary GraphQL query right here, right? So this could be querying for the current state of a chessboard. It could be querying for the current state of a chess player, perhaps, or like it could be getting your current poker hand. The notifications here for games. So we obviously don't support. It's not going to be a frame of doom every query at this point, but absolutely something like chess or poker. This query here, when you get the notifications, those could be people playing with you. That could be your opponent playing a chess piece. That could be a card being revealed in poker. Yeah, I hope that's.
Can we? I was wondering if we could show the. You don't have the code for the fungible, right? But we can maybe show the. We can.
You want to see the code for it?
Yeah. So now, because this app is like a single user app, which is kind of cool, but maybe doesn't show the power of cross-chain notifications. So what we call the fungible app is a payment app, essentially, that is transferring Linera tokens from, I think in this case, user tokens from one chain to the other, from one user chain to the other. And it's barely, let's see if...
So this variant of the counter demo that I've produced is slightly simplified for this, in that it doesn't have any of the nice style or error handling, etc. But the full versions of all of these examples can be found on the Linera web repository, which is open source on GitHub, including the full version of this one.
Awesome.
Tell me when you want me to share the front end of the fungible app.
Yeah. My computer is unhappy with me for some reason.
We can do a round of transfers with the.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it's not much more complicated actually. Let's show the live one first. I feel like it's going to be more interesting to look at the running thing, and then we can walk through what it's doing.
And we can all transfer each other, maybe with the public also.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm also going to load the app.
It'd be really fun, Danny, if you could take the account ID.
Oh, hey, how about this? How about you? Yeah, so everybody can load this page, and then let's transfer tokens to James' chain. So James, you need to somehow copy paste your account number.
So Danny's
Oh, Danny's
Danny's showing
changing.
these ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so Danny, if you can post your account number in the chat, and then we're gonna send you money, and we're gonna see the NAT going up.
I recommend using the button.
Yeah, the copy paste button is the kind of the only way to copy the address. That's gonna get all the, numbers. Okay, we never tried this. We will see if it works, but I mean we know. I mean,
Live demo for the first time.
Yeah, it's
always a great idea.
We're testing with way more traffic than what we're gonna generate, I think. But
okay, you're here. Hi.
Aha! All right, so.
ZelKK just sent, I guess, his address.
Right. Those tokens are all fake, by the way. Don't hope anything. Like don't get too excited.
We're at 1434.
So ZelKK, I think, just transferred to us. Is that what we're seeing here?
So I keep adding 10 cents.
1454. Check. Look at your balance, Danny. Yeah.
Yeah. So
my
I
NAT.
keep sending 10 cents. I keep sending 10 cents to Dan. So what people don't appreciate is that when I click, it's actually being transferred right away. But that you have to believe me, unless I share my screen. I mean, we can't share two screens. I mean, what you could do, Dan, is you could. I mean, I guess it's too late now. You have too many blocks in display. But if you try this at home, you can transfer money to yourself, and you will see the balance go down and then up again. And that's essentially the block time twice that you're observing.
Can I try?
Yeah.
You can transfer to
You'll
yourself.
still see it. Yeah.
You can.
All right. So this is the account. I'm sending it basically to my own account.
Yeah.
And let's just do one.
Yeah.
Start 21.
All right. So we have 22. Let's see.
You haven't clicked. Yeah. So click.
22 blocks, 21.
And that's
coins.
it.
23, 24. Yeah, it went down, then went up.
Yeah, you can do it again, and that's it.
Right.
So that's the you see
balance.
this is the time it takes to create 2 blocks, one to send the money, one to receive it.
Insanely fast.
And each block, each operation, like I said, so like we described, like the update of all the data presented on this UI are directly computed in the VM and are trustless. Like they are computed locally in the VM. We're not using any RPC provider here.
This is running a full node locally, right? In fact, in this web page right now.
A full node for this chain. So it's a partial full node. I like to confuse people.
I think we'll leave that out of the tagline. But apart from that, yes.
There was a question about running a node here from Heavy Smoker. Matthew, do you want to respond to this?
So yeah, so we're still adding developer. So people were asking about the testnet, by the way. So we do have a testnet, and we're about to launch a new version. So a new testnet is going to be launched very soon. That is going to be in line with the library that we're demonstrating today. So so the new testnet is going to be way more live action on it. But we did launch a testnet before. So we have over 20 validators, maybe 25 right now. We're still adding new nodes, but we also want people to understand that the hardware requirements are pretty high in our case. Not at the beginning, but in the long term, they're going to be relatively high because that's just the nature of the system. However, there will be also we also working on solutions to have people contribute to the security of the network without being a full validator. So that's what we call the auditor role. And so that's something that we want to build eventually, perhaps not on day one of the mainnet, but after we're super interested in getting the community involved. You can see that we can run chains in the browser. And so the main idea would be that people log to the Linera validator and then start executing micro chains in the system and auditing them to and maybe you would be rewarded for it. So that's what we call the auditor project. So it's a long-term vision that people can audit the system And while we have validators that are running on data centers, like with strong hardware requirements, everybody will be able to be an auditor. But for now, we're only building the validator side. And so, yeah, so contact us if you are a professional validator service with the, the operations that are required to run a complex system. We're interested in hearing from you. We also, so we are occasionally adding new validators to the testnet.
Another question that came in, which are there specific strategies or mechanisms in place to reduce latency and ensure efficient data synchronization when we're on different servers? This may have been a question in terms of the.
So every client talks to every validator. So you as a client, you don't have to worry too much. I mean, you will get the blocks if somebody. So if you're notified by one of the validators that you have a message or there's a new block, you will download that block without message. I mean, realistically, by talking to the same validator that notified you, but any other validator will work. There's work in the backend to we also have some form of synchronization between validators, which is not strictly needed in the theoretical design, but that's also something we're going to add. But yeah, the client side is talking to all the validators and maintaining connections. So we actually have native censorship resistant push notifications natively supported in Linera. Yeah.
James, can you say again where people can find the repo links for the demos that we did today?
Yeah. Sorry, I pushed in that chat again.
Maybe we can share that with everybody on Discord as well, so they can jump in. Where'd you send?
In the StreamYard private chat.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, it's really annoying not to be able to post to you guys directly.
Well, we'll get you on Discord.
Yeah.
All right.
And so, if you're a developer, you can in the console. Just going back to the question about networking. So if you can look in the console and you'll see the traffic coming from your client and talking to the validator. In this particular DevNet, which James called a mini net, there's only one developer for this particular demo. And our goal is to port all the demos you're seeing today. Our goal is to do that they are permanently hosted and running on the testnet of Linera very soon, as well as all your apps and all the demo apps that we know we've got a number of builders that have been asking about all the features we're presenting today, and they are already impatient to port like the different on-chain games and have them hosted permanently also and run like with this framework that we're presenting today. So it's a big moment. And it's really cool.
Yeah, there are a couple of them I'm really looking forward to porting.
We're inspiring some people on their educational journey, which is pretty great. OX Shetty, we hope that you continue to develop your skills as a developer and learn some Rust and try to build something on the Linera blockchain for sure.
And JavaScript is fine too. You can create front ends.
JavaScript too. Perfect.
Yeah, we've got some great applications already that are just crying out for a front end.
Actually, yeah, that's right. We have a number of examples that don't have a front end in our code base.
Can you tell us about them?
As far as I can remember, the AMM, other book, which is called Matching Engine. But yeah, don't quote me on this. You can just, I mean, it's visible. Like clearly, if there's a front end, it's visible, and the front end are currently using a different solution. So we also in the process of using the web client by default. All our examples. They will be, and in that case, they will be hosted in a different repository called Linera Web. Is that correct, James?
For now, yes. And there may be some.
So this is the main GitHub repository that we're referring to.
Yep.
I mean,
you'll need to look at PRs for now, but yeah, this is the web repository.
So people should come check this out, poke around.
Give us
See
a
what you can
start. It's sadly behind the protocol repository in terms of stars.
Okay.
Give us a
On the
star.
internal competition.
You know what to do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great initial overview of front-end development for Linera applications. Maybe we can give people a preview of what's to come in future weeks. So JV, the boss of the gym, which is definitely your new nickname. So we didn't hear much from you today, but maybe next week you're going to be taking the reins and teaching us something new. Do you want to tell us, give us a little hint of what's to come?
Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what. I think we can talk about more in the back end, like how to implement more of the application contracts and services. But yeah, there's lots to talk about.
Yeah, we decided we do this a little bit backwards. So I think typically when building a Linera application, what you'd usually do is build the backend first with your application logic, and then build a front end for the backend. But this is a nice visual way to get people onboarded.
And typically, when you're working on the backend, you will at some point set up a GraphQL server that you can query kind of manually using this web interface called GraphIQL. So you can test your app, the reads and the writes. That will eventually come from a UI interface, but you can test them just while you're developing the backend. Obviously, there's also a test framework with different ways to write different ways to write tests for a backend application. So unit tests, integration tests, and then also in some ways end-to-end tests. Although that part can be developed. People create their own scripts right now, is what I'm saying. But yeah, there's a full framework. The developer manual doesn't include what we're describing today yet, but we'll soon have a page also on the web development, and it's going to be awesome.
And for all of the developers who you want to get started and you run into some challenges or you have questions, just please engage with us on Discord. Right, there's a developer discussion in dev chat, and you can ask questions, and many of the community devs like Zhao like Has2, who've been part of this conversation here in the chat, they help to answer questions because they've already been working within the Linera architecture for a while. And of course we have the amazing Linera engineers, Matthew, James, JV, Andreas, Christos, others who are there to help you kind of get through any challenges that you might face as well. So we are here to help you. We are excited to see what you are going to build. Just to remind you, we have now launched our Games on Microchains challenge. So build a game, submit the GitHub repo and the front end to us by the end of April, and you have a chance at 50,000 XP and winning the builder role, and us including that game as part of a community-wide Games on Microchains tournament on Friday with a lot of people playing. So we really hope you'll take advantage of that opportunity. James, Matthew, JV, thank you guys for your time and for explaining and going over this. We really appreciate this.
Good to see you.
Hopefully next week we have you back.
Please do have a try at getting this running yourself. Yeah, if you have any questions, I'm in the Discord.
Thanks, guys, so much. G Microchains. See you guys. Peace out.
Yes.